Hello everyone, this is Mr. Laubach. I hope you are doing well. In this video, I want to quickly go over what North America was like when Columbus arrived in 1492 and prior to that. So we will go over Southwest settlements, language differences, Northwest settlements, the Great Basin and Great Plains, what life was like there for Native Americans, the Mississippi River Valley, and Northeast settlements, and the Atlantic Seaboard settlements. North America when Columbus arrived in 1492. The population in the region north of Mexico, present-day United States and Canada, in the 1490s may have been from anywhere to under 1 million up to 10 million. There's really no way to tell. Native American societies in this region included fewer people and had less complex social structures than those in Mexico and South America. One reason for this difference was how slowly the cultivation of corn or maize spread northward from Mexico up into present-day United States and Canada. The nutrition provided by corn allowed for larger and more densely settled populations. In turn, this led to more socially diversified societies in which people specialized in their work. Some of the most populous societies in North America had disappeared by the 15th century for reasons not well understood. By the time of Columbus, most people in the Americas, in what is now the United States and Canada, lived in semi-permanent settlements in groups seldom exceeding 300 people. In most of these groups, the men made tools and hunted for game, while the women gathered plants and nuts or grew crops such as corn, beans, and tobacco. Let's take a moment and talk about language differences among Native Americans in North America. Beyond these broad similarities, the cultures of American Indians were very diverse. For example, while English, Spanish, and almost all other European languages were part of just one language family, Indo-European, American Indian languages constituted more than 20 language families. Amongst the largest of these were Algonquin in the Northeast, Siouan in the Great Plains, and Athabascan in the Southwest. Together, these 20 language families included more than 400 distinct languages. And that was just in North America alone. Here's a look at the different regions of North America. The Arctic up here is near the Arctic Circle. This would be subarctic, which would be the northern part of Canada. This would be the northwest coast. This area in present-day California would be known as California. This is the Great Basin. This would be the Plains region or the Great Plains. This would be the Southwest region. This would be the Southeast region, and then the Northeast region. And we here at Lower Merion are situated in this area. And this, of course, is the Caribbean. And Mexico was considered the Southwest, also known as Mesoamerica. So just a quick look at the regions of North America. And remember, the environments in these regions drastically affected the culture and lifestyle of Native Americans living there. Let's focus first on the Southwest settlements. In the dry region that now includes New Mexico and Arizona, groups such as the Navajo, the Hopi, the Zuni, the Mojave, and the Apache evolved multifaceted societies. Many people lived in caves, under cliffs, and in multi-story buildings. The spread of maize cultivation into this region from Mexico prompted economic growth and the development of irrigation systems. The additional wealth allowed for a more complex society to develop, one with greater variations between social and economic classes. By the time Europeans arrived, extreme drought and other hostile natives had taken their toll on these groups. However, their descendants continued to live in the region, and the arid climate helped preserve some of the older stone and masonry dwellings, which are still around today. A big group in this region was named the Pueblos because of their housing by the Spanish. Northwest settlements. Along the Pacific coast from what is today Alaska through Oregon, Washington State, and into Northern California, people lived in permanent longhouses or plank houses. They had a rich diet based on hunting, fishing, and gathering nuts, berries, and roots. To help people remember stories, legends, and myths, they carved large totem poles. So when you see an authentic totem pole, there's a good chance it came from this region. However, the high mountain ranges in this region isolated tribes from one another, creating barriers to development. Now, the Great Basin and the Great Plains. People adapted to dry climate of the Great Basin region and grasslands of the Great Plains by developing mobile ways of living. Nomadic tribes survived on hunting, principally buffalo, which supplied their food as well as decorations, crafting tools, knives, and clothing. So there was a lot of use for buffaloes. People lived in teepees, frames of poles covered in animal skin, which were easily disassembled and transported. Some tribes, though they also hunted buffalo, lived permanently in earthen lodges, often along rivers. They raised corn, beans, and squash while actively trading with other tribes. Not until the 17th century did American Indians acquire horses by trading or stealing them from Spanish settlers. With horses, tribes such as the Lakota Sioux could more easily follow buffalo herds. The Plains tribes would at times merge or split apart as conditions changed. Migration also was common. For example, the Apaches gradually migrated southward from Canada to Texas. Mississippi River Valley. East of the Mississippi River, the woodland American Indians prospered with a rich food supply. Supported by hunting, fishing, and agriculture, people established permanent settlements in the Mississippi and Ohio River valleys. The Adena Hopewell culture, centered in what is now Ohio, is famous for its large earthen mounds, some 300 feet long. One of the largest settlements in the Midwest was Cahokia, near present-day St. Louis, Missouri. Northeast settlements. So this would be our region. Some descendants of the Adena Hopewell culture spread from the Ohio Valley into New York. Their culture combined hunting and farming. However, their farming techniques exhausted the soil quickly, so people had to move to fresh land frequently. Multiple families related through their mother's lineage lived together in longhouses that were sometimes up to 200 feet. Several tribes living near the Great Lakes and in New York, the Seneca, the Cayuga, the Onondaga, the Oneida, the Mohawk, and later the Tuscaroras, formed a powerful political union called the Iroquois Confederation. From the 16th century through the American Revolution, the Iroquois Confederation was a powerful union that battled American Indians as well as Europeans. As you can see on the map, there was also the Wampanoag, Pequot, the Delaware, the Powhatan, the Shawnee, the Miami, and the Illinois, and the Algonquins, which we'll certainly learn more about. They were in the Northeast region as well. Now, the Atlantic Seaboard Settlement. In the areas from New Jersey south to Florida lived the people of the coastal plains, such as the Cherokee, the Powhatans, the Choctaw, the Chickasaw, and the Seminole. Woodland mound builders built timber and bark lodges along rivers. The rivers and the Atlantic Ocean provided rich soil for farming and fishing. The Atlantic Seaboard settlements and these tribes were the initial contact Native Americans for English settlers, and we'll certainly learn more about them as we move on through APUSH. Overall diversity. The tremendous variety of landforms and climate prompted people in North America prior to 1492 to develop widely different cultures. While Europeans often grouped these various cultures together, each tribe was very conscious of its own distinctive systems and traditions. Not until much later in history did they develop a shared identity as Native Americans.